teams making interesting adjustments here coming into the hero pools, but as we get into Ilios, we'll see which team is able to get ahead in the series.
Of course, Ilios is going to be our first map. It's a control map. Then we move on, and the maps without asterisks, those are only if needed. So should we need it in our first to 3, that is where we're going to be heading. But now, going to be kicking it off here on Ilios. And already, Jake, anything speaking out to you as you look at the heroes that the teams are on?
Well, this makes total sense to me. The Brig Zen seems like the dominant dive support grouping. Maybe swapping that Zen for an Ana later into the round if that Transcendence isn't going to come online in time. But both teams preferring the Soldier. Carpe, interestingly, preferencing the Sim here. Wants to get his team out. No, actually, both teams going to lack a very similar composition, although FD God, we'll see if he switches over to the Brig.
And there is a swap to the Brigida, so we do have a mirror match in play between both teams. And Soldier continuing to be a dominant pick.
Paris putting a little bit more pressure on this Lighthouse side, so Carpe is just going to scout that out and try and keep the attackers at bay. But if this flank can come in from Paris, they should be able to keep Philly very pressured in the corner.
Ivy was put under a lot of pressure early on from Soon. Was able to shake it. Carpe, meanwhile, a little bit more back with the steam. Philly looking for a way on in. Paris a little bit more dominant on the point here so far. Already 3/4. Philly almost getting up the captain free. Now, I'm going to move back over onto the point. A little bit of pressure back and forth. Paris getting put down. Nexi's down. Alarm. Assassinates from afar.
Dive comes in from Paris, though. They're striking back. Point control as well for Paris, but no, the dive is working out. They're able to snowball through even without their healers.
Paris able to turn things around soon, being the big difference maker in this one. And now we'll see if Paris can hold on. They've gotten control of the point. They're pushing the Fusion back, and for the Fusion, they just need the reset.
And the D-Mech from Poco is going to signal an even longer stagger, although with 50% on his mech suit, he might elect to stay on the map and try and recharge with the pistol. A bit of a risky play, though, could allow Paris to come in with a fast dive.
Paris right now holding onto their positioning, staying further back, not giving Fusion any obvious dive targets. Second dive of their own. Pulse Bomb, and from Soon does not connect. Poco hanging on back here, the Fusion going more towards the right-hand side. Carpe working the flank. Exi, though, able to find Ivy. Now Carpe trying to make up for it. No smite out of the fight. 5-on-5. Pulse Bomb over. Does not connect. The Eternal hanging in there. Hobbin throwing out the self-destruct. What's he going to get? Just gives him a little bit of space. As Alarm fires back. A very close fight thus far.
That's a huge pick. Zen, one of the slowest rollouts, and Sato will be back to the fight very, very quickly. So there's going to be a momentary advantage here for Philly Fusion. Hiko with the pick. That's going to enable them to capitalize.
Still got to respect the Brigida, even if you are on Tracer. And now the Fusion have better spots. Starting to put up progress. Exi taken down. Carpe, more room to work with. Carpe, though, a little bit deep there. Ends up falling the Hanbin. Fusion, though, still looking to flip. The Eternal, though, Jake, are still in control.
Eternal's doing a great job cycling bodies onto the point, and the rally is going to make it almost impossible to close this fight out. So Paris, they're charging forward to 99 capture. Who will win this fight, though? Trans committed from Paris.
Transcendence and Tac Visor out from Paris. Sato's been hanging on the prowl for a long time, but now lets it fly. Sato trying to disrupt a bit in the back. Exi very, very low. Same soon. Exi can't get away from Sato. Just gets slammed into the wall.
Paris suppressing Ivy, but now he's going to be able to push out. Exi falling in the back line. Sato, though, gets turned on, taken out. The stick from Soon, but it's traded.
Soon goes back over with the Pulse Bomb, keeps Paris in the fight. This is a slugfest. Philly, though, Carpe with 2 on the other end, make it 3. And that's the type of carry play Fusion needs out of Carpe as they maintain control.
And it's so important that the Philadelphia Fusion there are able to take control of the point midway through the fight, getting that control starting to tick up so they're not so far behind in this round. No ults really to speak of for the Paris Eternal. Fully committing to that team fight victory might cost them, especially if Carpe can find a stick pick off, then that could really slow them down.
See what Carpe does this time. Pulse Bomb up. Doesn't even want to have a full team fight here. Just if he can get the early pick off, and does. No smite. Just looks the Pulse Bomb in the eye. Doesn't blink, but probably should have.
Not much you can do there about the Pulse Bomb. This is going to signal another potential reset, but Paris trying to keep fighting for control, even without their Winston. This is very confident play from them. We'll see if it goes unpunished.
Carpe, meanwhile, again, working on the outskirts. Ivy, well protected by EQO here, where makes it difficult for Soon to harass the Soldier.
Diving in now onto Ivy, but he's got great support from his team in this corner.
Throws down the health station at the same time. No smite, though! A Primal on the other side! And Paris able to break things wide open. This is real dangerous for Philly. They don't have much room to give.
Although that early cap now is going to be so important because it's going to buy them a little bit of extra time to potentially get a point contest working. Although the support ults are charged for the Paris Eternal ahead of Philly Fusion. It's going to be a really tough fight for Philly to win.
Philly needs to buy a little bit of time for Alarm to get the Transcendence. Overtime in play. Pulse Bomb in from Soon, looking for the pickoff. Sato, super low, but he was able to stay alive for now.
No one touches point. That's pretty rough there. All the pressure coming in. A little bit of miscommunication there from the Philly Fusion. There were definitely players close enough to touch, so nobody able to put themselves on the line there. Although if you do drop a player early, it might end up costing you the team fight anyway. So probably was Paris' fight to win, but a little bit quicker than it needed to be.
I think the problem that Philly had there is that Philly just got into a bit of a hole. And, you know, Jake, when you get that far behind in a control map, what goes through your head on how you have to play to bring that all the way back?
You need to be making some big plays, right? Like if you just play the ultimate economy game, eventually it's going to swing back in the other team's favor. They will take control. So props to Paris for playing that long game. Philly, they were looking for the big plays, but just caught off and punished a little bit too often.
See if Philadelphia can rebound here as we move into the ruins. Tracer still in play for both sides. And Soon, been looking pretty good today.
Another full dive mirror, but this time it's Philly's turn to potentially get this around. This fight on the flank is so important. Whichever Tracer asserts dominance will have freedom to charge the back line.
Smite got isolated. Discord, Orb, and down. Ivy on the cleanup from afar. And now Carpe just going to have all the space to himself, looking for the Tracer one-on-one. And it's not particularly even, given he has the armor.
He's got the armor, but Soon keeping this fight very interesting, very close.
Carpe right now versus Soon. Of course, while this is all going on, Philly was able to get the point, and that's the exclamation mark.
Little bit of style, so important to assert dominance in the Tracer 1v1. If you force the other Tracer to run away or to recall, even if you can't get the pick off, it's going to signal a big opening for you to come in and hunt those vulnerable backliners.
So the Fusion end up with first control this time around. Paris looking for their way in, not doing anything crazy on the intro. Carpe working on the flank. Sato gets pretty low to start things off. Smite finding himself focused once more. Both Winston's under pretty heavy fire, and Ivy gets caught Soon! Was able to get to the back, aided by the Zen. And now Paris working with man advantage and a big poke advantage here, Jake, but Smite's down. Carpe trying to turn this around, but it might be too late.
Carpe does commit. Sato finds another. This is a tough fight, but they're keeping it interesting. Trance and Primal committed from Philly Fusion. They don't want to give up control.
Both teams going back and forth. Soon, the pillar here for Paris. Soki so far almost gets cut down by Alarm. Alarm firing at him, forcing him back. But it just opens up opportunities for FD God and Hanbin to go into Philly, and Paris end up with retake.
They do retake, but that's a nice commitment from the Philadelphia Fusion, getting a lot more time on point, and it takes a few more ultimates out of the Paris Eternal to re-secure control. Although tank ult advantage to the Paris Eternal is going to give them a big initiation advantage. If anyone gets caught in a corner with Smite's Primal, they're certainly going to fall.
Is this an area we can go for just a raw Diva Bomb if you see the right opportunity?
I think the Diva Bomb is really more of a remech utility ultimate in this sort of meta. It's too easy for these mobile characters to dodge the bomb. You're most likely going to put your body on the line and just use that ultimate to remech, get back in the suit.
And then working with the extra life, in a sense. Paris fighting the time. Smite though thinks it's time to go. Dives on in, has the Primal. Getting very low. Healed back up. Ivy taken down. Soon taking well advantage. And Smite now. A little bit disruption at the very end. And, you know, I'm not even sure you need to use the Primal there at the end.
Maybe not, but he is going to get some late cleanup staggers with it, so it will pay some dividends. EQO going to fall so late, and that's going to allow Paris Eternal to get ahead on this capture point.
So Paris, a well-executed dive, going to give them the progress advantage. Philly, now in a dangerous spot. If they don't win this round, the map is over.
Carpe needs to find something so desperately with the Pulse Bomb. It's very hard to use any aggressively. That's actually so good for the Paris Eternal.
Of course, Soon's going to be able to get back to the point even quicker, and it gives Xe such a big poke advantage now, Jake.
Yeah, no one really able to contest this Soldier and Zen duo at long range. Paris gonna have total map control and cruising up towards 99%. Philly Fusion might fall here in map 1. The Paris Eternal looking so clean with this new roster.
The pick off by Soon essentially costing the Fusion a full fight. 83-55. Last opportunity now for the Fusion to turn this one around.
And map is just in full control for the Paris Eternal. They can set up wherever they want. What are you gonna do if you're the Philly Fusion?
Well, first off, dodge the bomb. It's heading right at you. Hanbin making some space with that. Xe using the attack visor, but guess what? Carpe, he knows his team is in danger. He's taking out Smite. He's looking for a little bit more. The pulse bomb is up. Carpe on the hunt, on the prowl, goes for the stick, and it's not quite enough. Sato, meanwhile, down. Carpe, it's not the pulse bomb, but he's still got to do more.
The rally just providing such a huge advantage. First Transcendence comes out from Philly Fusion and a much better response from Hip. They're going to have so much dominance in the healing on point. EQO, though, with the rally trying to fight back, but he's got no DPS.
Soon, right now, cleaning up the last little bit of the Fusion. His pulse bomb a bit better. Looking for alarm on the other side. That's it.
As we come to Junkertown, there's all these wide open spaces, and remember, no more Widowmaker, so this might be an opportunity for a Lucio to come in, close those long gaps.
Paris had a rough experience yesterday, really with knowing how they can't run Widow the same way they did before, because you just can't run Widow. And now for the Fusion, a team that relied on Carpe to run the Widow, to dominate the sight lines, Carpe has to be more up close and personal on the Tracer.
And, you know, even now that we see Funny Astro is on the Brig as well, this could be a reflection of the fact that it's very hard to swap main support. It's a role where even if your other player might be more experienced on the Brig as a particular hero, your main support is often your in-game leader, often deciding who's committing ultimates and when. So to actually change that for one match might be a really difficult adjustment to make. So Philly, just going back to what's been their most successful roster so far.
What do you think of the Hanzo pick from Xe here to get a little bit more long range?
It's too soon to tell if he's going to commit or just use this as a poking play, but he will be a very vulnerable dive target if the Fusion can catch him out, perhaps with a Discord Orb.
I think for Xe it means that you got to make your shots count. Can be effective, but a little bit harder, especially now Hanzo's arrows don't go quite as quick.
And Fusion with no map control to speak of, they're going to have to make a concerted dive here because Paris Eternal, even with a much less mobile comp, they're the ones taking control. They're the ones getting this around right now.
Paris taking their time on setup. What do you think of the Hanzo v Soldier matchup?
It's really rough for Soldier. The potential to get one shot, you know, Xe's just going to poke all day long, and eventually he might just find something. Soldier not going to be able to get that pick off in the same way.
So we'll see if Ivy ends up respecting Xe here. Right now, both teams a little bit casual poke. Xe, though, under pressure. They go for the dive. Oh, what a turn! Takes down Carpe. Excellent by Xe.
And Ivy not really able to find anything. He's going to wrap around the flank, try to turn things around onto Xe. Does catch him, but the heals are onto Xe, and now he's turning the fight around again.
Paris starting off strong here on Junkertown. This should be a quick point A. Alarm, though, a parting shot.
Potential to recontest here, but I wouldn't recommend this for the Philadelphia Fusion. I like this. They're switching to the Mei, bringing out a comp that is a little more dominant in these enclosed spaces. There's less opportunity for the mobility of the dive comp to pay dividends.
Xe right now feeling himself a little bit far forward. Just looking for that one arrow, Jake, to get an extra stagger. And look at this, Poco onto the Sigma.
So much poke now available for the Philly Fusion on this comp. They have a lot more range damage than the Paris Eternal, even in the face of the Hanzo. But a stick like that changes it all around.
Just a sweet little stick. And now it's 6 on 5. It's those little plays that help put Paris ahead, that give them so much extra room here, Jake.
And this is about the most impactful pulse bomb you could ever get. I mean, that's essentially a free team fight of cart push now for the Paris Eternal. So Soon getting so much value. Carpe not even really able to enter the fight. So props to Hanbin and Soon keeping the pressure, keeping the map control, even when they're playing a more stable Aristocom.
Soon has been playing incredibly hungry here today. You love to see it. Really flashbacks to what he used to be known for going back. And Xe finds Astro. No immortality field down, and Fusion, they can't get a clean fight. They're just getting rolled.
Before the commitment even comes in from Soon, we talked about him setting up this flank, but in fact, it's Xe and Hip finding the pickoffs. That's a free fight, and Soon, I mean, you can't even question this. They're absolutely dominating the game so far. 5 minutes and 30 seconds to get third point. Philadelphia Fusion are absolutely crumbling.
Fusion look lost right now. Carpe gonna try and fight Hanzo v Hanzo, saying, you've changed my mind. I think Hanzo might be pretty good right now, but they're playing into what was originally Paris's game plan.
Yeah, but Soon on the Tracer now might struggle a lot. There's so much range poke coming his way, and he will be caught and taken down.
Soon perhaps a little bit deep, but Paris is working with an incredible time bank right now, Jake. 5 whole minutes just for point C.
I like this from Paris. They're refusing to give up the fight, still contesting the high ground. They know that Soon will be back very, very quickly on that Tracer.
Hip able to take down Alarm. This time it's Alarm on the receiving end of some Zen damage. Soon, meanwhile, Pulse Bomb. He's ready. He's on the prowl. Looking for it. Under pressure from Sato. Just drops on the Sato. Does Falter get V there? The immortality field's there, and Sato should get healed right back up.
Although Supercharger from No Smite, there's no flankers available for the Philadelphia Fusion to take this down, so it's free damage boost for everyone on the Paris Eternal as they look to close out the map.
It's free real estate. FD gone, able to take down Ivy, and Paris once again on a 6 on 5, Soon into Carpe, and Paris continues to put the Fusion into the ground.
Paris, you could tell they were angry yesterday falling to the Houston Outlaws, and now this anger is paying dividends, absolutely deleting the Philadelphia Fusion. 4 minutes and 10 seconds on Junkertown. This has to be close to a record.
Right now, Carpe could be at his PC furiously going, it won't let me play Widow. I need to play Widow. Because right now, Fusion, they need some form of change, because this was a very different showing where I know transitive property isn't a thing in video gaming. Matchups are a big deal. But I just want to remind everyone, the Eternal just got completely destroyed by the Outlaws yesterday. And now they are destroying the undefeated top team in the league. This is madness.
And I just want to give huge props to the Paris Eternal. Yesterday, I was, I have to admit it, I was ragging on them. I was saying, you guys, they're playing these bad strats. It's not working out at all. But they completely turned it around today. They looked at what other teams were doing, what other teams were using to find success, and they've replicated it while still focusing on their style. Xe on the Hanzo, he's been so sharp. And Soon on the Tracer, this is a very non-traditional composition. It's not a full dive strat, but Soon still on the Tracer, still making it work.
So we do have a stat update. That is the quickest Junkertown attack time in Overwatch League history. Woo! What a turnaround for the Paris Eternal.
I'm proud I called that one out, but I guess it was a little bit obvious. I mean, they didn't lose a single team fight on the offense. So Philadelphia Fusion, it's going to be almost impossible to recreate that success, but they just need to cap the map, get an OT round, and try and make something out of this map.
Well, we could have the record for the quickest broken record if Fusion is able to break this record here and now.
I think it'll be so difficult, but the Hanzo Make comes out again soon. Gonna have to watch out for those one-shots, but he's been so evasive and elusive so far.
So we'll see if the Fusion can capture some lightning in a bottle here. Because right now, Paris has had their number and then some.
Interestingly though, FD God on the Mercy is probably going to be pocketing Xe most of the time. Going to give him a lot of damage pressure onto the shields of the Philadelphia Fusion.
Carpe, right now looking at the shield, staying with this team. Not really going for any pickoffs on the side. Not a flanking Carpe thus far. Trying to take advantage from the halt, and meanwhile Sato just got out.
Soon is just dancing around the Philadelphia Fusion. They come to the flank to clear him out, and he's right back in the main tank space, taking down Sato.
I feel like you compare the two, Soon is applying way more pressure on Tracer than what Ivy is able to dish out right now in the main.
Definitely. I mean, it feels like the group up play from the Philadelphia Fusion, they're stronger in the moment, but as soon as they split up to take control of one of these flanks,
oh no!
Soon is immediately striking to punish.
Carpe just got thrown into the dumpster.
Oh, Ivy, that's exactly what he needed to do, and that death is going to be too far out. No chance for a res, so Philly Fusion, this is their moment to break through.
Well, right now it's a 5-on-5. They're going to have to wait for Carpe to get on back, but Eternal, they are giving up a little bit of ground here. Ivy at 88%, getting real close to Blizzard. Moving forward, Dragon Strike from Xe, trying to split up the Fusion, buy some time as soon as they get back in. And the Fusion right now, do they wait for the Immortality Field again?
Well, they have the Amplification Matrix, so this could blow through the shields very quickly from the Paris Eternal.
Soon's back into the fray. Pulse Bomb, looking for a target. Who's it gonna be? Nothing but Alarm! Alarm taken on down. Now the Zen out of the way. Xe, more room to work with. Over the top, Carpe down. And Soon has been a monster today.
The most important ults are committed from the Philly Fusion, and they get nothing out of them. This is starting to look very grim. We might be going to a very quick map 3.
Could go from the most impressive attack we've ever seen on the map to a first point hold. There's nothing to say about that other than Fusion is getting dominated.
And it just feels like Soon's distraction value is so high here. You see everyone's looking at him and Hip with the huge right click to take down Carpe once again.
Soon, flying pressure them. Oh! Ivy with the quick turn takes Soon out of the fight. So it gives Fusion a little bit to work here with Jake, but still, they gotta wait for Carpe.
It's trading these pickoffs that's gonna play towards Soon. He's so fast on the Tracer, quick on the respawn. Xe with the other turn kill. Can Philly even commit on this fight? It seems so risky.
Alarm has been peeking a lot and getting punished. Xe with 2, and now they're gonna invest in Transcendence and roll right over. A little bit of an over-investment, really, but Fusion, they're down to their final minute.
Normally I would have thought the Baptiste is the stronger choice in this compositional mirror, giving you that shield pressure advantage, but Xe is making the most out of this damage boost. He's finding kill after kill. When you're going to commit a Mercy to pocket your main DPS, they have to be producing, and Xe is giving his team more than they could possibly expect.
This has been wild. Xe showing dominance on the Hanzo, giving Paris a very good long-range option, and I just feel Alarm, usually going for these long-range pickoffs, getting punished a lot right now.
XC just kind of outplaying on the Hanzo, using that pressure from Soon on the flank. Big Stick comes in on the tanks.
Pulse bomb over, deals with the immortality field, that's about it. Here comes Poco. Well, his bomb being the saving moment, it does take down No Smite. Fusion, a little bit of hope. XC, Dragon Strike to the side, force out the Transcendence, but Fusion still A-OK. Everyone still in the fight. And finally, mercifully, Fusion might be getting point A.
That's a massive Diva Bomb from Poco to take out the opposing main tank while the Mercy is on the other side of the map. No opportunity for her to come in with the res. Fusion, they're finally capping, but almost in overtime here. How are they possibly going to replicate the Paris Eternal success?
I think mathematically, I don't think they can at this point.
Oh, certainly not.
In any way, shape, or form. So, at the very least, they can still set quick time and give themselves something to work with, but they basically have to be perfect from here on out.
I mean, with Paris Eternal soon doing so much on the flank, delaying these fights, keeping them very, very difficult to actually get the engagement. Soon always pressuring. I don't think there's any way that Philly is capping with extra time. They're going to have a very difficult OT round ahead at best.
Well, the upside, it is Escort. You can do things even with no time. Have the Amp Matrix out right now. Ivy just poking on through. Blizzard ready. Doesn't want to throw it into the Matrix, and Astro got picked off. Hip being dangerous here in the back. Uses the Transcendence a little bit early. Keeps most of his team alive. Wasn't enough to save No Smite. But Soon's in the back line right now. Now rotating around.
Both teams understanding the importance of this high ground position, but Sato overcommits and taken down, although Soon traded back. Philly might have a moment. Their spawn, remember, is so close, but Soon's rezzed.
Oh, FD got on the Mercy, brings the Soon threat back in. The Pulse Bomb still ready for the Eternal. And that's been such a key ultimate for Paris here, usually able to get something out of it.
No Smite as well, switching over to the Winston, so Paris Eternal going to be on a full dive composition with a very dangerous backline. I like this sort of dive variant. It's going to give XE all the space in the world.
XE opens with the Dragon, forces moving out of the Fusion. The Pulse Bomb from Soon, not quite connecting. No Smite, left on over. Invest the Valkyrie, Paris still in the fight, but down a lot of presence here, down the main tank early, and now XE still the major threat around.
Paris, though, it just feels like they're playing the stall game so efficiently here. We're looking at another OT finish at best, but somehow Paris turning this around, keeping that backline alive, and the constant pressure keeping Paris in this fight.
Hanbin's been doing a lot to stall things out, even as Fusion has been a little bit more dominant in this fight. You nailed it. It's all been about the stall where, yeah, Paris, you're falling, the Dragon Strike's doing some work, but look at the time, it's just draining.
Paris, they just need to charge ults and win one team fight in overtime. Philly, they need to win this clean. If they commit too many ults here, they're going to kill their chance of snowballing third point. So this is a tough fight for them.
Fusion need things to start going well consistently. Alarm now on the Ana, in the back. A little bit of pressure, looking for No Smite. No Smite eating a lot, Poke's down! No Smite looking a little bit lost. And the Fusion, well on their way to getting point B, but the time, once more, it's an overtime, Jake. They are not really doing well with the clock.
Yeah, I mean, once again, 130, there's almost no way you're capping this with extra time, but you need to cap it at all. Just give yourself some chance, some sliver of hope. You're going to have to make an absolutely massive OT push, even if you get this done, but still, keep fighting. You're not over yet.
And again, the upside for the Fusion, it is Escort, where no matter what, you do get another attempt if you finish things out. So that's something they have to be banking on here. You got to look to Ivy, though. Next fight, Blizzard, ready.
This Hanzo duel is so critical, so important. Soon fighting in the backline, but Poco's keeping the pressure on him.
Ivy moving in, waiting for the time to drop the Blizzard. Paris all around, and Ivy right now doesn't see a good opportunity. Sato's down, and Paris just all around the Fusion. A great flank setup. And really, Fusion had no way of dealing with that.
Fusion, they're trying to play as a stable core, give Carpe a position to fire from, but Paris, they're doing it in the exact opposite manner. Instead of staying grouped with XE, they're taking all the map control, forcing Carpe to always turn around, always watching his back, and he's not able to output the damage that way.
XE, he's had so much success on other heroes so far. Now he's going to the Sombra for the late swap. Soon into the back, heavy pressure, dodge the sleep dart, does not dodge the arrow. Carpe keeping the Fusion in it.
At this point, this should be a free fight for the Philadelphia Fusion, and it needs to be exactly that. They need a few ults to get ready to close out this map.
XE, what do you think of the Sombra or Hanzo now that it's one fight territory?
I think he was trying to farm an EMP, but he might be regretting it now. It doesn't seem like he's going to have it online before the end of the game. Now with OT spawns, Hanbin is going to be a long time till he's back. One chance here for Paris to secure the map here.
Fusion could keep themselves alive, even with a much lesser time bank. No Smite, slept early. Forces hip to drop a very early Transcendence. Ivy, Blizzard zoning things out. No smite in danger, no smite down. Fusion up 6 on 5 in their quest to stay alive. Alarm, well protected in the back. Fusion just prioritizing the payload. Hanbin under pressure, drops the bomb over, gets Carpe, deals with the carry of the Fusion. Poco dropping a bomb, looking for a little bit of room for the Fusion as they try and stay in this, but Eternal, they built the EMP, they drop it over, they hit 4, and is it gonna be enough? No smite soon. They're diving over, they deal Astro. They haven't gotten anything else just yet.
Alarm is still uncontested in the back, still putting out an absolute ton of heals here. So Philly, they're still in the fight, but soon with the post bomb can turn it.
No, not enough just yet, but here comes Scarface back in the fight. He's on the Doomfist, takes down Soon, and the Fusion still fighting tooth and nail. The respawns are against them, the Eternal, they're right back out, and Sato and Carpe back over onto the point, just trying to stay alive.
Both teams very much in this, but I think the spawn advantage is starting to overwhelm for Paris Eternal. They don't want to go to an OT round. They want to fight here and now, try and hold here on Junkertown.
And then the Eternal, they've almost done, they get rid of Sato, they get rid of Carpe, and they take the map. Well, for the Fusion, they are running out of time to find that answer. Blizzard World, gonna be our next map. It could be our final map if the Paris Eternal take this one. And I have to say, it is not how I expected the undefeated season for the Fusion to potentially end.
Yeah, it's looking a bit unceremonious at this point, but, you know, we've seen stranger things from the Philadelphia Fusion. They're a team that knows how to play with their back against the wall. Confidence in their roster, not going to bring out any changes here going into the final map. You know, Des talked a little bit about Doomfist, but I really don't think it makes any sense this patch. I think Doomfist is just completely stymied by the Tracer, by the Brig. These are heroes that dominate you one-on-one in the flank and just take all your space away. It's really rough to be playing the Doom.
There's a gigantic red chips a button in the Fusion coaching dugout, and they always have to ask us, like, is it time? Do we do it? It's like, no. Even if we lose, it's not our darkest hour. Do not hit the button. Not yet.
Saving that weapon for another day, it seems. Ivy on the high ground, going to be able to try and put out a lot of damage on this Soldier 76. So far, Paris just scouting. They want to see what the defense is bringing to bear before they make a committed decision on their composition.
Eternal definitely feeling like the weight is off their shoulders right now. Taking some time here on this attack, Jake. About 25 seconds already gone just because of the swaps.
This comp works so well on Junkertown. I think it's going to be on Carpe and on Sato to get into the backline and attack this Zenyatta. That's the vulnerable point for the Paris Eternal's composition.
Soon right now is off on a secret mission. Far behind enemy lines. Setting up the gank, and oh, Galarm already down. Both ends down, but that favors the attackers. Now let's see what Soon can do. Moving in, Ivy, his target, chasing him down. What's it going to be? Well, it's a Brigida in your face. You got to check Soon just a little bit. The rest of the Fusion diving in to the Eternal. And the first defense going the way of the Fusion.
Fusion doing a great job keeping this fight in their own wheelhouse. They're the dive comp. They want to fight in these enclosed areas, catch off those vulnerable backliners, and even with a huge opener from XC, which, you know, is certainly beyond what you can expect from the Hanzo here, still the fight goes in favor of the Philadelphia Fusion. They're the more durable comp brawling in the close range areas.
Still very close for the Eternal. If Soon was able to get a little bit of a better clip on an Ivy, could have been a different fight, especially with the early pickoff. XC, we'll see if he can find that arrow one more time.
FD God giving a little bit more defensive utility to his team on the Brigida, but Sato doing a great job keeping his HP up, hiding in the flank.
Carpe got really low for a second there, had the back out. Eternal right now taking positioning right near the point, forcing the Fusion back. Ivy and Poco on a real damage. Sato taken down! An ill-advised dive for Sato. Carpe winning the Tracer duel as Soon just lobs the pulse bomb up. Was hoping for something, didn't find it. 5 on 5.
Very dangerous though. XC now free casting from the back line. Somebody's got to stop this man. He will take your head off.
He's about to have dragons to boot. Over to the left, Carpe strikes. XC, is there a response? The dragon strike is ready. He sees a whole bunch of people there, drops the dragon. But I'm not sure it's really the best placed. Forces Fusion out, but it's not enough. Carpe and Sato back the other way. Hoppin though, looking to make a hero plate. Over pull. No, doesn't get what he's looking for.
That's looking really rough. Gonna cause himself a major stagger here. Philly Fusion gonna let him take a long walk into the water. No, Ivy just picks up the ultimate charge. So far, it seems like Philly Fusion, they're coming alive here. Backs against the wall, and Carpe is the hero that the Philly Fusion were hoping for.
Carpe has come up much larger here so far than he did on maps 1 and 2. Meanwhile, Soon's impact, a little bit muted. I don't think those two things are unrelated.
Definitely not. Carpe getting the better of the Tracer duel now, and a huge ultimate bank ready for the Philadelphia Fusion. Paris, Exy's going to have to provide some next level heroics to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get an early Hanzo pick off here, it's going to be very difficult to win the fight. Sato, looking to flex, early Primal Rage, the Fusion moving on in, making it look easy, but also efficient, Jake. They only had to use the Primal.
Exactly.
Oh, Exy!
Exy kills both DPS. This guy's a freak of nature.
Fusion go a little bit deep. Now this is going to give the Eternal an opportunity, but it's going to be without Hanbin, so I'm not sure if it's quite as good as it would have been.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's going to be much of a window here. Tracer, Soldier, some of the fastest respawners in the game. They just get right back into the fight. So Exy's going to need to produce more than that to get this fight win.
He has a dragon up, but where do you place this dragon here?
It's just not an effective ult against a dive composition. They don't mind running around.
So see where it goes. The Fusion, meanwhile, Poco, early bomb takes out Exy. They deal with the threats. There will be no Hanzo pickoff this time. Fusion still full 6. The stick! No smites out of there. And the Fusion rally back here on Blizzard World. This is looking like a point A hold.
Carpe looking so dangerous with his back against the wall, refusing to let the Philadelphia Fusion fall in 3. And it looks like the full hold here. Hanbin just trying to delay, just trying to keep this fight going.
Emergency Doom Fist. We've seen Dooms pull fights like this before. Exy, though, will have to go full beast mode, and no, he's dead. He's gone.
Yeah,
not happening.
Alarms disagrees with you there.
He's like, no. We're not living in that universe. This is our hold. Please, get off our point.
Wow. You've got to give it to Sato and Carpe there, assaulting the back line. Exy, confident in his Hanzo, having a great performance in the last 2 maps, but just completely shut down on the close corridors of Blizzard World First Point.
This is what you need if you're going to be a championship team. You have to have the fortitude, Jake, to bounce back from otherwise difficult situations.
Philadelphia Fusion, you got to hand it to them. The emotions have, for a lesser team would have been out of control. They could have gotten snowballed out of this game, but they're fighting back.
Well, will the Fusion be able to get the brooms out of the closet and go for the reverse sweep? Right now, it's looking okay. We'll find out next round.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch.
The Fusion bouncing back on Blizzard World. I'm not really sure what happened during that halftime break. I mean, maybe they got Gritty in there to scare him and just say, look, play better or else.
Putting the fear of Gritty into the Fusion. Something's working out for them. I gotta say, it looks like it's Carpe and Sato finding that coordination, showing why these players have so much confidence in one another. They want to play together, and this is why. When their dives are clean and focused, they're just completely wiping the floor with the backline. Even when FD Gone switches over to the Brigida, Sato, he's not afraid to go in there and put his life on the line. Sometimes he falls first, but he knows his team is coming to capitalize.
Just a very different look for the Fusion, and we talked about it in the middle of it, but I just look back to the Tracer on Tracer setup where the biggest difference is the first 2 maps, Soon was rolling. This time around, it was Carpe that was rolling.
Yeah, it's Carpe winning those Tracer duels. It shows how impactful it can be. Soon's flanking was what really set up the Paris Eternal for success in the last 2 maps. So if he's shut down by Carpe, the strategy has to change for the Paris Eternal.
Now note, this could be a very, very short round. All the Fusion have to do here, Jake, just get 33% on the point, and the map is over. We will not be seeing point B or point C under any circumstances. So the Fusion, they have a lot of time and not far to go.
Yeah, the key here for the Philly Fusion is take it slow. Push out all those flanks. Do not let Soon get in your backline. He is so devastating when he's allowed to flank like that. So they clear him out, and they're taking the map control away as Paris Eternal, they're falling back to the high ground of point.
Paris Eternal have to be perfect. And all they get rewarded for in that perfection here, Jake, is a draw. But that's the world they find themselves in.
You've got to fight even when it looks dark. Sato jumping in, gets immediately booped. He might die quickly here soon. Keeps the pressure on.
There's a little bit of an ill-advised dive. Sato immediately taken down. And the Fusion, they don't have to go for a long fight here, Jake. They still know that they're working with a big advantage. They can't lose the map at this point, so they're just gonna back out.
Still though, if you get drawn at this point, then Paris, they keep the momentum of the series. They buy themselves more time to finish it off. It still looks good for them, although I like this approach from Philly Fusion. They're gonna wrap around all the way behind into that second point, try and push XZ off the high ground that he wants to hold on to here, but I expect, you know, Paris Eternal, they can't yield this high ground. It's so critical to their strategy.
The Eternal right now trying to size up the next opening. Sato moving in, and there's Carpe following up on the opening. XZ out of the fight. Now it falls to Soon. Soon v Carpe. Paris with a little bit of a meteor presence. Fusion still with both DPS. Carpe right now on a long run, looking for him. Soon those already struck in the back. Alarm gone out of the fight. Carpe doesn't get much done. And now the Fusion starting to run out of momentum.
Carpe staying in the back line, but there's no openings here. Paris keeping the phalanx. Sato's back though, and he's still fighting.
Sato again with the trade, gives over and in, but the Eternal just counter-engage, and soon the Nano Tracer making some room.
Stabilization so important here for the Paris Eternal, and XZ onto the Soldier. I think this is an even better pick against the strategy that Philly Fusion is bringing to bear. That Hanzo can be very vulnerable to the dive, so Soldier's increased mobility and that heal station keeping his teammates up could be crucial.
The Eternal thus far, they're over halfway to their goal. They've burned 2 minutes, 15 seconds off the clock. The Fusion, who once had a ton of time, not so much anymore.
Bunny Astro's rally might be a crucial moment here. It gives you a little bit more flexibility in staying on top of that Orisa, even if a biotic grenade comes down.
Fusion slowly going up to the high ground, going over to the right, gets stuck by the halt. Heavy pressure in from the Eternal, and the Eternal are doing a great job of just burning the clock.
Yeah, no team's really taking an action here, but that's going to favor the defenders. Philly Fusion, they need to break this open soon, or they could be looking at a draw.
Not what you want for your morale after having such a good hold. Soon though, looking, just going directly into the front line, gets the stick, but it's onto a D.Va Mech, it doesn't matter at all. And now, Eternal holding back a little bit, they use a supercharger. Fusion have to respect it. The bomb from Hanbin up and over, does not connect.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
no.
Hanbin's down. Hanbin couldn't get back in. Carpe was able to chase it down, 6 on 5. The Fusion looking to put this one away. Sato though, down for a nap. But Soon's out of the fight. The Fusion's still working with a huge advantage. XZ now in enemy lines, taking on down the Fusion. They've just about done it.
You make one mistake as the Paris Eternal and it all falls apart. That's what happens when you fail your attack so brutally. Philly Fusion, they're cleaning it up off the back of a huge pickoff by Carpe, and they get their map in the series. Well, that's the question, right? Are they a team with the mental fortitude to bounce back, to say, all right, it's a momentary hiccup. We've been dominating so far. We're going to a map where XZ can probably bring out that Hanzo once again and show us what he's made of. It's going to be harder for Carpe to get in your backline as effectively here. But, you know, if you start to lose Hanamura, things start to look bad. Philly Fusion are to be the ones in control.
Well, Shimada by any other name. I don't know if this is for real, it probably isn't, but XZ right now, flashing the Genji, not gonna last.
I think pretty unlikely. Zen Brig is a really dangerous support duo for Genji to deal with. XZ going to be on the Sombra, showing Paris has been doing this over and over again. Just these utility heroes scouting the defense out, see what they're running, see their position. XZ's got to teleport in the spawn. He's just deciding what he wants to play.
And what's going to be played? It's not the Sombra, it's not the Sinatraa, it's Tracer, Hanzo, Paris. Go into the well once more.
You know, overall, I just like this comp from the Paris Eternal. One pickoff from XZ, and this defense is going to be over for Paris and or for Philly, and Ivy is going to struggle much more to find that same sort of pickoff.
A lot of heavy pressure coming in from Paris here early. No Spine nearly falling. Soon, though, under heavy pressure, both Alarm and Carpe wanting none of that, and Soon just barely able to get away.
Can't find an opening yet on the back line, so Carpe, again, doing a great job in the 1v1.
little bit of pressure from Xe here, looking at the shields. Fusion mostly sticking to the sight lines, trying to make things a little bit difficult for Xe. Now, in over the top, looking for it. Still under pressure. Poko, though, in danger. Gonna get demeched.
Now Soon striking the back line. He's found his way in.
Hanbin doing a little bit more to the back, and the Fusion starting to get run right over, and that was a very quick engage for the Eternal.
Poko getting caught up by Soon. That's the opening that they were waiting for, and this defense just completely falling apart for the Philly Fusion.
You know, a little bit of trivia here, Jake, especially with your history with the Outlaws. Sometimes demeching divas as Tracer does matter.
Well, I mean, it's hugely important, especially in the dive mirror. It's very, very hard to survive long enough to get back into your suit. Your team just isn't equipped to defend a baby diva. So, you know, that's the type of sort of opening that can break open the defense, let the enemy Tracer run wild. Xe on the Hanzo as well. If you can't suppress him, he's going to output that damage, guaranteed.
The Eternal right now, they're working with some heavy momentum here, Jake. The Dragon Strike up and ready. And the Eternal, they're not going to waste a whole lot of time. They've secured the high ground, and now they're just looking for the engage.
Slowly constricting is the Paris Eternal, but it's Carpe coming around behind with Sato striking this backline.
They're looking for the pulse bomb. They don't quite get it. The Fusion now looking to re-get their high ground. Xe drops the Dragon Strike. Sato still hanging on to the Primal. The Fusion holding back. Carpe take it down. Soon was able to find them. And now the 6-on-5. Sato dropping the Primal. No Smite under pressure. Hanbin falling, and now Ivy. Attack visor done. Trying to get a better vantage point. Gonna challenge the Hanzo directly, but he gets a little bit of help at the same time. And the Fusion starting to evict the Eternal here slowly.
Sato doing great work so far on the Winston. He baits out Hanbin's self-destruct, picks him off with the Primal, and now runs through the rest of the team.
So the Fusion able to stay alive, and not just stay alive, but you take a look at the progress. They don't even give up 33% to the Eternal.
Paris as well, committing absolutely every ult there. That's a complete hard reset on ults. Nothing over 40%. This is a pretty much worst case scenario. Hanamura's second defense is one of the best points for defenders in the entirety of Overwatch. And to have absolutely no ultimates, you don't have an opening play here if you're the Paris Eternal. You have to find some sort of insane pickoff, but with Xe onto the Soldier, that potential is much limited.
How many fights do you think they're going to need here to get another clean one? Well, hold on, that thought. Poko, early self-destruct gets Xe, so this isn't going to be the fight for the Eternal.
Eternal, it's a quick one for the Philly Fusion, so the Eternal not able to charge many ults whatsoever, so really in the same position they were in last fight. This is why it's so devastating to blow your entire bank of ultimates. Once you get to this point in the game, the Philadelphia Fusion, they can just use one ultimate in a row every team fight. One ultimate, one ultimate, one ultimate. That's all you need to overwhelm the attackers with the defensive advantage positions.
If you're the Eternal, how long do you bank here?
I think you need to bank until overtime. At this point, you're really just going to have one chance left. You blew every ult trying to snowball. It didn't pay off. Now, Philly Fusion, they're going to be able to make it easy for quite a few fights. Another one with nothing in the bank for the Paris Eternal.
So the Fusion right now sitting pretty. Going to open up with the rally. Xe just taken down. Alarm finds the angle early. Now you don't have the Soldier. Now you don't really have much of anything aside from quick tickets back to the respawn.
Oh, I don't like this commitment from FD God whatsoever. Pops his rally, keeps his team from getting staggered, but rally is a crucial ultimate, especially trying to break through this defensive choke where so much damage is pouring into you. They're going to be regretting that one very, very deeply then, and again, it just resets their bank. Yeah, No Smite has a Primal, but so many ults available for the Philly Fusion to counter it.
This is dangerous for the Eternal. I think you were absolutely dead on when you said it might go to overtime. We'll see if Paris burns anything here. Carpe gets the stick early and often. And the Fusion just making it look easy now.
No Smite again, committing the only ult that the Paris Eternal have. Paris, they need to stop making this mistake. They're so far behind in economy. They need to make some economic plays to get an advantage going. But so far, Philly Fusion's had the ultimates in control every single time. They commit only a pulse bomb to win that fight. It only cost them a rally to win the last one. The fight before it, one self-destruct. Philly's just outplaying them here.
This has been really tactical by the Fusion so far, and I mean, even as Paris has been moving in, they're getting outflanked every time. And it isn't even just Carpe. Alarm got in on the action at one point.
Soon going for a desperation bomb, but Poko eats it easily.
Nice eat by Poko, and just, again, the shutdowns continue to happen here as the Fusion just put the Eternal bit of a chokehold. And look at this for the Eternal. They use Transcendence there. What did they get out of that?
They stay alive, but it's not doing much. Sato, though, overcommits, is going to get taken down. Ivy's attack visor does split up the attackers.
But now you have a Transcendence for the Fusion. It's going to buy him time for respawns. Ivy just gets to casually walk on out, lay in the damage. The Eternal are staggered once again, and Jake's been down to about a minute now.
It's certainly looking like OT, and once again, Paris, they've got no ults to work with. How are you going to deal with Funny Astro's rally?
Look, if you're going to make an investment with your ults, at least make a good investment. They just threw that away. Penny stocks.
It was a good try, but actually it was Sato's Primal that really secured that, knocking FD God out the window and away from his team.
43 seconds left for the Eternal. Now heading into what could be the final fight. Carpe hanging out, has the Pulse Bomb. Looking to put this one away. Over, not quite through the window. Respecting the poke that's coming out.
Yeah, Carpe doesn't want to go in solo. The attacker's not making a commitment yet, so Carpe doesn't have to make any sort of move. Now it's time to strike.
Moving on in. What's he get? Nothing. Meanwhile, Poco. Bomb up and over. Is he going to catch something? Not quite yet. Does Gil. Oh! The turnaround. Takes down Soon. And now the Fusion up 6 on 5. Soon cannot be the hero. Not just yet. Sato gets an uncontested Zen. And the Fusion about to put this one to bed. The Eternal is trying to struggle, trying to delay, but it's not really working thus far. Soon though, back into the fray, gets Carpe. That's one step, but they need so much more.
Sato picks off XZ though, and that's most of the backline damage. Now Ivy and the Alarm are just uncontested at the back of the point. Poco chasing down frags. Ivy, there's no one can stop him. He's got a tag visor, the ultimate cleanup ultimate.
The Eternal just running into a brick wall in the Fusion on point B. And the Fusion looked every bit the team we thought they were heading into this matchup here on Hanamura. What a fantastically run defense on point B.
Yeah, they felt pretty flat on first point, but that's to be expected. You know, if the attackers just find one pick, one little opening, they should secure first point. But on second, so clinical. Once the Paris Eternal make an overcommitment, Philly Fusion punished them for 5 consecutive minutes. Just one ult at a time. That's textbook second point defense.
You know, I just feel like I can't escape this with Philly, where the Fusion Overwatch League proper go to map 5 a whole lot, but their contenders team went to map 5 just every time as a matter of right. And it's just, I don't know at this point, is it Philly that's cursed or is it me? It's just this entire element of Philly really likes going to map 5, and I gotta tell you, that could be the case here because they're in an enormous advantage right now.
Well, I think this story, though, is so much different than the normal way Philly gets to map 5. Usually, they're coming out strong. They're leading the series and then maybe making some mistakes, crumbling a little bit. But this time, it's Paris who came out strong and Philly who flipped the script.
Well, of course, we do have some intrigue here tonight. We've seen how impactful hero pools have been. Well, guess what? We get a whole new hero pool to look at the end of tonight's broadcast. The Week 6 hero draw going to be on Watchpoint tonight.
I'm so excited to see what comes up next. This week has been a ton of fun for me, analyzing these new compositions, new strategies, new ways to play. Now we're going to see a full mirror match come out. We'll see if Paris can somehow secure a first hold here. Otherwise, Philly Fusion, they might be able to even up the series.
Eternal in a really tough spot. Of course, their only way of winning the series now in this map is getting the full hold on point A. Otherwise, they're looking for a draw.
Yeah, that's a rough feeling, but it's certainly achievable, and you would just, even if that's the best you can do, a draw is a lot better than a loss here. It buys you more time to close out the series.
Carpe already putting pressure into the point. Soon going for the battle. Tracer v Tracer. Carpe just rotating out. Meanwhile, Sato under a whole lot of pressure. The Discord orb on him. Forced on back in the Fusion. Gonna take a breather.
Carpe, though, he has secured his place in the backline, and he's keeping Soon busy.
And Soon's down. Alarm on the double team. And now they have the 6 on 5. Carpe doesn't have to worry about Soon following him. It's going to open up Carpe for a lot of room. FD got already down. And the Fusion just about there for point A. So any hope of the Eternal winning Hanamura, it's about to go bye-bye.
You know, like I said, attackers get just one pick, and that's going to be an easy first point, especially when it's the Tracer. You're relying on your Tracer to contest the enemy Tracer on point. Carpe's here on second point. A little bit early, buddy, but he wants to pick up these backlines.
I know where they're spawning. I'm going to get him out of spawn. Carpe just possessed by an incredible bloodlust right now. And why not? The Fusion have completely flipped the script. Just when you thought Paris was going to run away with it, the Fusion now on the verge of bringing this to a map 5.
Philly, they do have an advantage in their ultimate charge here, so this could be a quick win on second point, but will they make the same mistakes that lost the Paris Eternal last round? If they blow these ultimates and they can't find anything out of them, Paris could stabilize. So this first attack on second point is arguably the most crucial.
It is a little bit different though, given that the Fusion know they only have to get 33%. The Eternal, they have to protect the point a little bit more here, Jake.
Yeah, I do want to see somebody forcing point, and it's probably going to be Carpe with the armor kit. He's had so much success with his strategy.
And already, putting the focus on some point, it demands an immediate response. No Smite, dropping a primal early for Paris on the other side, and no, Carpe taken down. So they deal with the threat, but Ivy fires back. 5 on 5, Ivy trying to get extra space here on the top. No Smite is down, and the Eternal, they are in trouble. The Fusion moving right back on in. The Transcendence from Alarm keeping them alive. Traded out on both sides, but the Fusion still working with a full 6. Alarm, another one! Takes down Soon, and this is looking so good for the Fusion right now.
It's so clinical from the Fusion. They're not overextending past the high ground. They're keeping their damage dealers and their Brig in, and only now with a huge advantage do they dive forward.
Carpe will not be stopped. Carpe with another 2. The Eternal backs against the wall now, an emergency delay, Jake. How long can they keep it up? Carpe just putting his foot on the ground.
Gas pedal on for the Fusion, but the spawns are very close for Paris. They're still in this fight. One pick could turn things around.
Carpe right now working around the outskirts. The rest of the Fusion playing safe, but soon back into it. Deals with Alarm, gets his revenge. And the Eternal, perhaps not out of it yet. The Fusion had such a big advantage, but right now the Eternal, they're fighting it back tooth and nail. They are not out of it yet, and Ivy forces to the corner, but Carpe wins the Tracer battle. The Fusion roaring on back.
Ivy trying desperately to stay alive, but the Primal, he has to contest point, and now it's Sato in the backline, hunting those supports. Ivy dancing around, shoots out No Smite.
Not wanting any part of that, but they're so close. The Fusion almost capped the point. The Eternal, they can't leave it even for a second, but they don't have to. They're pushing the Fusion back somehow. They flip it back around.
Incredible stuff from Paris Eternal. It looked so good for Philadelphia. They were playing so tactically, just getting pick after pick as they inch their way towards the point, but maybe just letting the Paris team regroup a little bit too much there. I
think the Fusion played a little bit more scared than they need to. You had so many early pickoffs. Just flood the point. You only need 33%.
Although Rally, such a crucial ultimate in this matchup, Funny Astro has a major lead, so this could secure his team that same aggressive forward position. Rally, of course, being so difficult to contest, it gets you through the choke point.
Fusion still have 3 minutes. Early pulse bomb goodbye. Ivy taken on down, and even with the trade, it's not good for the offense.
They're gonna try and make it work though. No Discord orbits, very difficult to focus down this Rally.
They're looking for it, but okay, you've lost Sato. Now's truly the time to retreat. You're down a little bit too much, and the Fusion know it. Not sure if Funny Astro knows it. Probably should though.
So it seems that Philly is making some of the same mistakes that Paris made, even with some better looking offensive pushes. Ooh. They haven't worked out. Now Soon at spawn hunts down Xe. Should pay with his life, but he's such a nuisance. He takes so long to pick off, and he's going to be easily back in the fight before Ivy's able to contest second point.
That's the classic right there. It's been since the very beginning of Overwatch, where you never expect it. Sometimes a Tracer could just be saying hiya right at spawn.
Hanamura, it's a tough map to take on this offense, and Paris showing why. Great tactical holds from them, and now it's FD God's turn to have an advantage on the Rally.
Paris potentially about to hold on here. 2 minutes left for Fusion, stalling out a bit, trying to take the high ground once more. Alarm hanging on to the Transcendence. Poco clearing things out, going to the top, but Poco goes a little bit deep, ends up losing the mech, has to use the self-destruct just to remech. So not as high impact as we would have liked. Meanwhile, No Smite and Xe, Primal plus tack, and No Smite just bouncing the Fusion around.
This is a big ultimate commitment from Paris Eternal, so next fight they won't have so much to work with. I do want to say FD God, great bash onto Poco, did deny that remech, allowed him to fall to the tack visor just seconds later. Carpe managing to hide in the flank, nobody cleared this mega spot. A pick off here could be the opening Philly Fusion's been waiting for.
Well, they're gonna need it soon, otherwise get your telescopes out because the draw, starting to see it. Pulse bomb over, does not hit.
Very, very close here. The tactical sprint working out for Xe in this case, but Funny Astro's Rally should be able to get them through the doorways once again.
Fusion down to their final minutes soon. Looking to burn even more time off the clock. Pressure from the back. Not scared of Poco in the slightest. Can't quite get back over to the high ground, but now looking for Carpe. Tracer on Tracer. A little bit of Winston support. Recalls back, and oh, Ivy! The attack visor didn't see it. And the Fusion now with all sorts of momentum onto point. They got it! They're running the same play too many times. You know, there's a saying you can only go to the well so many times, and you take a look at how Paris was doing well the first two maps, Jake. A lot of it was Soon just being wild into the back line, heavy flanks, but you fall to that enough, you're gonna expect it.
as well. Xy's Hanzo was a major point of strength for the Paris Eternal, but it feels that he's been roundly dominated, forced onto the Soldier 76, a more utility DPS, which I think is not exactly where this player shines. I mean, I'm sure he's a great soldier, got great gameplay abilities, great accuracy, but Soldier's a hero. It's much more important where you're putting that heal station down, where you're leading your team. You have to play as a core.
And just as a reminder here, in case you're tuning in wondering, where's McCree? Where's Widow? Ryan, we usually see those heroes. Not this week. They're out of the pool. That is, of course, a new thing here in the Overwatch League. Hero pools. Some heroes you just can't play.
Once again, we'll have a mirror matchup. Eternal electing to speed boost out of spawn. Gonna give them the edge on taking this high ground.
Philly and map 5's a classic. And okay, well, that's also a classic. A quick dive from the Eternal immediately dispatches Sato and Ivy.
And that's Paris Eternal showing how important it is to have your Lucio speed boost out of spawn before switching to the Brig. It gets his team onto the high ground first, and Philly, they just get caught at the corner and dominated.
So the Eternal trying to channel their old map 1 energy here on map 5. The Fusion losing first control.
Could all turn around here. Carpe and Sato striking at the high ground, but Sato turned, focus down.
Sato immediately dispatched the Eternal, looking so much more aggressive. Just taking the fight to Fusion before the Fusion can even think.
Paris just looks angry. They're upset. They don't want to be here on map 5, so they want to end it quickly. And so far, it's going that way. Philly Fusion finding absolutely no purchase here.
And it's been decisive. It's just a quick dive, one target down. You gotta give credit to Hip here. Great Discord orbs to set this up. Now look at Soon. Pulse bomb. Oh no! The door frame! The ultimate protection in Overwatch, keeping the Fusion alive.
A rare mistake from Soon, but Paris still in full control here, and Nosmite almost ready to Primal.
Eternal gonna back up a bit, and Primal's still very good on this point, Jake.
Definitely. Alarm has a quick trance, but it's very hard to use aggressively in this meta. Nosmite trying to farm this Primal Rage, who's almost certainly going to get it here as Philly wrapping around the map. And it's Carpe dying. The rotation fails.
Carpe was poking around the side. Xe having none of it. And now, this just gives Soon more room to work with, where Soon can go to the back. Nosmite already mid-primal. Goes a little bit deep, and a bit of a mistake, but the stagger should make it okay for Paris, as long as Xe stays alive. Still good trades.
This is a bloody fight, but it's still really clean at the end of the day when you consider the ultimate economy. Paris hanging on to 5 ultimates. They only paid Nosmite's Primal for that.
77% right now for the Eternal. The Fusion yet to be on the board. Final opportunity to make something happen now.
This should be a very long fight. Both teams with a lot of ultimates to bring to bear. I think the Pulse Bombs are going to be the difference makers here.
Pulse Bomb already in from Soon. Connects! Funny Astro out of the fight. Xe following through. Carpe gets a stick of his own, but the Fusion's still down 1. Carpe, more heroics are still required. Do you have what it takes? Looking for the Winston, looking for Brigitte. Having the respect of Brigitte. We're mid-overtime. The rest of the Eternal going in. Carpe, look at FD God, take it down. Soon back into the fight.
FD God's overextended, but it doesn't matter. Transcendence keeping everyone alive. Hanbin able to remake. Ivy just trying to keep it going, but his tac visor falls to the self-destruct that was just sitting on the floor.
A bit intense. Sometimes there's need for a pause, but the break in the action about to be over. We're about to get back into the game where the Eternal are on the verge of spoiling the Fusion season, giving them their first loss here in the 2020 season.
Will we see a microcosm of the series so far? Will Philly turn it around here? Well, it has to start on this map, and I think it really needs to be off the back of a good mid-fight. This is such an important map to win that first control. Carpe with the TP, valuing his team's decision to get quickly to point, and they're going to be the first ones to the jump pad this time.
So the Fusion learning from their mistakes, perhaps. A little bit of a quicker jump, heavy pressure onto Nosmite. Nosmite in danger, getting hit from all ends. The Eternal right now, trying to heal him back up. Easier said than done when running a Zen in a Brig.
Carpe putting out a lot of damage with the armor pack. Paris, they're all grouped up and they're taking so much pressure.
Nosmite could never get healthy again. So much pressure coming in from the Fusion. Really nice maintained focus. And that is very likely to give them the first point.
D.Va as well, getting delayed, only picked off there at the end of the fight. Paris not really charging anything out of that, and you can just look at the Tracer's ultimate charge there. That tells the story of the fight. Carpe doubling the damage that Soon was able to put out.
The Eternal were just put in a really defensive position, Jake, because of how heavy the pressure was on the Nosmite.
And it comes off the back of that great TP strap from Carpe.
So the rollout for the Fusion, decisive, and now the Pulse Bomb. It's already up. They might not even expect it this early. So Carpe, working with the element of surprise, waiting, Pulse Bomb to the wall, not quite. but he is going to get the DMAC, and that should not quite be an end to the fight. Sato falls. The Eternal have options, but Alarm is taking him away.
Alarm goes in for a solo flank, gets 2, is traded down, but that's advantage to Philadelphia Fusion.
Both Tracers getting some work done here, though. Soon on one side, Carpe on the other. Fusion still work the edge.
It's all Carpe, though. He's just cleaning up in these long fights. The DPS working together. Soldier 76 main support here.
And sometimes you gotta get the healing from whatever source you can. Ivy hang on back. Exi takes down Poco, doesn't let him remech. And now we're gonna have attack wise with Ivy. Trying to buy a little bit more space. Hip though, transcends. Means Ivy isn't gonna have much to shoot at here. Hoppin gets Carpe, and the Eternal roll back in and get their own control of the point.
Philly, they need a full retreat here, but that's a double support ult coming out from Paris Eternal. The support ult's arguably the most important in this mirror match, so Philadelphia with both in a great position to win the recontest.
And Philly, they want to recontest sooner rather than later here. You don't want to let Eternal back into the fray. You also don't want to use these ults and get nothing out of it.
And crucially, there's no pulse bomb here, so there's no real threat onto Funny Astro's life. The rally is going to force Paris Eternal to run away, but we've seen other teams kite away very effectively from rallies.
Soon though, still being a threat, poking in. One more good clip to put him right at that pulse bomb threshold. And the Eternal right now, they're playing around. They're giving Fusion a difficult time in trying to get a clean engage.
Although Paris, they're all caught in the same corner here. Funny Astro's rally is going to get so much value in this position.
And FD got taken down immediately. Now Soon, even the odds. Pulse bombs up. He was looking for it. Doesn't quite get what he needed. Meanwhile, Sato focused on down the other side. No! Healed back up. Excellent healing coming in from the Fusion. Great engage. And the Fusion should be about to retake.
Even control, but Philly Fusion, they're going to be able to get the flip here, able to get the fight victory.
60-60. You called it, Jake. And the Fusion trying to make this a microcosm of the entire series, and truthfully, potentially one good fight away from making that happen.
Both teams with only attack visor, but tank ults will be up very soon, so if the Fusion can make this fight just go a little bit long, get their tanks dealing some of that damage, they will have the first primal and the first self-destruct.
Exi working around the side, has attack visor. Soon, perhaps looking to get airborne. Judging it, waiting. And now that he knows the rest of the team's going in, he takes a bounce pad. Moves on over. The Fusion, though, trying to take the fight over to the Eternal first, and they do. Hip taken on down by Sato. Carpe there in the backup, and the Fusion getting a lot more from this engage as Exi is batted around.
And that's a clean map here for the Philly Fusion. Hanbin gonna grab a health pack. I'm not sure he's even gonna make it to point here. Nope. Philly Fusion taking us to the final map of the final map. Very, very impressive stuff from them, regrouping after a brutal loss.
What better way to end the series than going to what is the ultimate round here in Overwatch? Round 3 on Control in a map 5. Doesn't get any better than this.
You know, and Oasis is a map where getting the first control on each round is so crucial. We've seen both teams that secure first control ultimately going on to secure the round. So which team is going to go for the speed boost here? Maybe a sim play. Funny Astro this time is on the Lucio, is going to speed boost his team. So mirroring FD God, we're going to see a fair fight here from mid, and I think it could be very crucial in deciding the entire series.
The Fusion ready to head on out. The Eternal on the other gates. We'll see which team is able to get the key advantage between the two. The Eternal getting to the point a little bit quicker than the Fusion. Alarm under pressure from Hip. Both ends feeling each other up, and the Eternal taking way more poke damage. Just barely able to heal up. Fusion very close to taking that.
Really nice work from Fusion. They let the enemy tanks get to the high ground first, but Exi focuses down Carpe. That completely turns us around.
Carpe somehow caught in sightlines for just a moment, and that's all it took. And now the Fusion getting poked on down. Soon able to go to back. Oh, he goes too deep. Soon's out of the fight. And even though the Eternal first control, the Fusion, they're really low. The Eternal, they want to finish off. Now they do. No Spine able to get right into the thick of it.
The tanks just not able to get healed up. The Brig Zen, it offers so much damage, so much fighting power, but what it doesn't offer is the ability to restore your tanks to full HP quickly.
So the Eternal, they take the first fight here on the Gardens. The Fusion working to defend their undefeated season. They get no more chances, Jake, after this.
FD God, first ult of the round will be his Rally, and Rally, we've talked about this time and time again. In the mirror, it's the strongest ultimate, it's the most dangerous. The armor is so difficult to deal with.
FD God hanging back, and you see it from the Fusion, a little bit of pressure on the FD God. I think they know that just as well as you do. And now the Fusion taking a lot of time here, Jake. They force out the rally. FD God gonna use it, and now the Eternal. See how deep they go in.
This is a beautiful bait from Philly. They bait the rally and they surround, but Hip strikes back, although both soldiers falling.
Both soldiers out of the fight soon though. Pulse Bomb takes down Astro, and the Eternal, they're getting real close to their goal now. 60%, 1-2 fights to blemish the record of the Fusion.
Paris looking so clean on this control map type, still sitting on 4 ultimates. Maybe they used their rally last fight, that is pretty important, but with 4 other ultimates, you have great ways to win this.
Eternal are in such a good spot. Soon takes the Tracer battle. That could have been the dagger to the heart of the Fusion.
Soon does recall, but this is last hope for Philadelphia Fusion. If they don't get control now, it's going to be the series for Paris Eternal.
90% Eternal. They are good to go. A great position, an even better ultimate bank. 97%. The Fusion must get onto the point. Carpelo strikes. Takes down Hip early. Hip was not able to transcend. What a swing in the fight. The Eternal, they're committing. They drop the self-destruct. They use the Primal Rage. They're throwing everything they got and more. Not even sure they had to. Carpet takes down FD God. And the Fusion are getting right back over, Jake.
Sato and Poco, it's a great approach from them, but like you said, an unforced error there from Hip, falling, not able to get his Transcendence off, and that's so important. That's an ultimate that you do want to use when you get dove. It's an opportunity to turn around onto those tanks, so Hip, maybe a bit of a mistake there, could end up costing them.
Well, and it would be fine if it was just Hip, but the rest of Eternal burned a lot of their resources into a losing fight. The Fusion have a real shot of bringing this back.
Now you have only the Trance, and if Carpe can stick the Brig or the Soldier, ooh, nicely by Hanbin.
Hanbin with the save, shuts down Carpe. And now the Eternal moving forward. XE a little bit of danger. No smite though, can't get healed. Taken on down. And the Fusion's still in a really good spot here. I don't think Eternal can go in without the Winston.
Ivy doing a great job of making himself and the rest of his backline a very hard target, holding that heal station in reserve.
Ivy gonna drop the attack visor on the top, takes down FD God immediately. And look at this, they use the Transcendence, the Eternal. They use their resources, they get nothing. And the Fusion, well on their way to flipping things around in full.
Carpe, he's striking back in this series. It seemed like Soon had his number in this round, but like we said before, you put Carpe against the wall, he finds a way to knock you down, get back in position. Funny Astro with a rally, able to counter FD God here, but it's Alarm with a full Transcendence advantage that's really going to make the difference this fight.
Let's not forget though, the Eternal, they are one fight away. The post bomb near left for Soon, he doesn't have it just yet. He couldn't immediately throw the stick. Now he's built it, now he goes. The post bomb forces the Transcendence. Alarm had the Transcend to stay alive. Paris back up a little bit, they drop the attack visor. Transcendence nearly done. XE back over to the point. Sato though takes down Soon. Able to fish him off. No spike though. Over and in. The power range is up 90%. This is a fun opportunity for the Eternal. The Fusion trying to defend, but it's no spike. XE still in the fight.
Not over yet. Poco does have the self-destruct. They need to keep Ivy alive. The heal station trying to sustain. Everyone grouping onto Ivy. He does fall to the tanks, but it cost them all their HP.
99 to 99. This is absolute pandemonium on the point. XE gonna dodge the self-destruct. Back over to the top, taking down Astro. A key pickoff here for the Eternal, but XE in danger. Walking away. Takes down the Hammond. Sato wasn't looking. XE still in the fight. And now they're looking to Poco. Poco in danger. Eternal nearly flipping it, but Carpe is still around.
Carpe refusing to give up. Fighting strong. It could be a Tracer duel that decides this round. Soon, so much damage. Can he find a stick?
This is so back and forth. Soon, one side, Carpe, the other. Poco out of the fight. The stick ready. Goes for the Hammond. Does not hit. Meanwhile, XE has built attack visor. Alarm though, a response. The Transcendence, the Fusion, still in the fight.
XE caught by the Hammond, they need to take him out, but the supports keeping this 76 alive. Diva comes out of mech, but Sato falls in the exchange. Ivy's still fighting.
Sato is down, but Carpe is still here. Ivy still in the fight, Soon under pressure. Funny Astro down. Both teams, one haymaker after another. XE though, takes out Carpe. Carpe out of the fight.
Hip 90 to Trance. The Trance could be the nail in the coffin here. Philly Fusion, they're fighting, but Soon
turns the fight. The Paris Eternal, they take it. The undefeated season